Hey everyone, welcome to the Dilettante's Bookshelf. My name is Michelle, and in today's video I'm going to show you all of the library books that I currently have on my TBR. So as normal, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through these in no particular order. I have a big bag of library books here, so I'm just going to pull them out and tell you a little bit about the books. So this is the Inheritance Games. I have not read any of these books. They look really good. I did start this one. I'm on page 8, and so far it's really gripping. I had read from... I know on Chantel's BookTube channel, she was talking about her library haul, and she was sharing how she'll kind of go through and read a few pages of the book just to figure out if it's something that she might be interested in. So what I have been doing is, as my library books are coming close to their due date, I am taking them off the shelf, reading a few pages if I haven't already, to decide whether or not I actually want to read the book, and then I can either renew it or check it out again at a later time. But it's worked out really, really well for me. I had a couple books that I started, and I probably could have finished them if they were, or at least one or two of them I could have finished if I didn't have any other books to read, but I wasn't enjoying them. And I'm just trying to be really clear. There's so many wonderful books out there that it makes more sense to just pick up a book, read it, and kind of go from there. So if you're not familiar with these books, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It says Avery Grahams has a plan for a better future. Survive high school with a scholarship and get out. But our luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. The only catch, Avery must move into a sprawling mansion full of secret passages, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately for Avery, Hawthorne House is also occupied by the family that Tobias Hawthorne just disinherited. This includes the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, magnetic boys who grew up with every expectation that one day they would inherit billions. And this is actually, I believe, a trilogy. So if it's good, which I think it's going to be, I can grab the next one and keep reading. The next book on my list is Mrs. Bird, or Dear Mrs. Bird, and I've actually been reading this one. I'm about... what page am I on? I'm about 48, and this is really a very sweet book so far. I'm really enjoying the characters, the timeline that it's taking place in. It's really a good book. It's something that if you're looking for at least from where I'm at so far, it's a very light read, and it's the character is just so optimistic and youthful and just looking forward to her whole life laid out before her. She's kind of a dreamer, and I just absolutely love it. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It is set in World War II London. Emmeline Lake and her best friend Bunty are doing their bit for the war effort and trying to stay cheerful despite the German planes making their nightly raids. Emmy dreams of becoming a lady war correspondent, and when she spots a job advertisement in the newspaper, she seizes her chance. But after a rather unfortunate misunderstanding, she finds herself typing letters for the formidable Henrietta Bird, renowned advice columnist of Woman's Friend magazine. Mrs. Bird is very clear. Letters containing any unpleasantness must go straight into the bin. But as Emmy reads the desperate pleas from women who may have gone too far with the wrong man or can't bear to let their children be evacuated, she begins to secretly write back to the readers who have poured out their troubles. So this is just, so far I'm really enjoying it, and this is one of the books that I'm currently reading and hope to finish in the next few days. Another book that I am currently reading is Catherine of Aragon, The True Queen. This is another book series, and a lot of these books came on recommendations from other booktubers, so I'm not sure who, but I know that this one came through, and this is a series about the wives of King Henry VIII, and I'm only about, it's a heavy book. I'm only at about page 58, but I'm really enjoying it. So this is one that I keep dipping in and out of, and I still have a few more renews on it, so I'm going to keep going with that. Next up on my list is The Mysterious Benedict Society, and to be honest, I don't remember where this book came from or how I mean, I know where it came from, but I don't know where I got the idea to read this book. It says, "Are you a gifted child looking for special opportunities? When this peculiar ad appears in the newspaper, dozens of children enroll to take a series of mysterious, mind-bending tests. And you, dear reader, can test your wits right alongside them. But in the end, just 4 very special children will succeed. They're challenged to go on a secret mission that only the most intelligent and resourceful children could complete. To accomplish it, they will have to go undercover at the Learning Institute for the Very Enlightened, where the only rule is that there are no rules." So this is another really good book. I think I started, I did start, I'm only on page 2, so I kind of really didn't even start it. But I think I wanted to, this was one that I was going to be coming up for renewal, and I said, well, let me just take a look at it and see if I'm even interested. And so far, so good. So I think I'm going to keep reading it. Next up is The Monsters of Templeton, and this book, again, I don't remember much about it, but it is a novel that spans 2 centuries, part of a contemporary short story of a girl's search for her father, part historical novel, and part ghost story. The spellbinding novel is at the core of a tale of how one town holds the secrets of a family. So this book, these were another one that was recommended from, I'm trying to remember which YouTube channel, but I'm not going to remember. But anyway, this is another one that just, I don't know, it looks really intriguing and a different storyline. So I think I'm going to try to read for you a few more pages and see if this is something that I want to continue to read. Next up is Winter House, and this is another young adult series. Actually, I think this might be a children's novel. It is about orphan Elizabeth Summers, whose malevolent Aunt Purdy and Uncle Burlap ship her off to the ominous Winter House Hotel, owned by the peculiar Northbridge Falls. Upon arrival, Elizabeth quickly discovers that Winter House has many charms, most notably its massive library. It's not long before she locates a magical book of puzzles that will unlock a mystery involving Norbridge and his sinister family. So I started this one. I'm not too far into it. I'm only on chapter 2. But I'm enjoying this so far, and as I said, it's a series of books, which I love, because when you really start to invest in characters and you really like their stories, I just love a series. I always have since the time I was young, and I've always been reading books that have multiples in their line. So yeah, I'm excited to continue on with this one. Next up is Crave. Now this is another pretty lofty book, and I've had it out for maybe a week or so now, and actually it might be 2 weeks, and I haven't even started it, and it's coming due. So I'll tell you about it, and then I'm gonna read a couple pages and decide whether or not I'm gonna continue on with this book. My whole world changed when I stepped inside the academy. Nothing is right about this place or the other students in it. Here I am a mere mortal among gods, or monsters. I still can't decide which of these warring factions I belong to, if I belong at all. I only know the one thing that unites them is their hatred of me. So it looks really good. If I'm not able to get into it now, because it is a pretty heavy book. Yeah, it's almost 600 pages. So if I can't get into it now because I have the other Catherine book that I'm reading, which is also pretty hefty, I might just return this and then keep it on my list of books to read at another time. This is another book that I've had out for maybe 2 weeks, and it's called A Study in Murder. This is like a cozy mystery. It's a series. It's called the Victorian Book Club Mystery. It takes place in Bath, England in 1890. I do love books that take place in the 1800s. Mystery author Lady Amy Lovell receives an anonymous letter containing shocking news. Her fiance has been dabbling in something illegal, which causes her to promptly break their engagement. Two evenings later, as Lady Amy awaits a visit from Lord William Wethington, fellow member of the Bath Mystery Book Club, her former fiancé makes an unexpected and most unwelcome appearance at her house. She promptly sends him to the library to cool his heels, but later discovers the room seemingly empty until she stumbles upon a dead Mr. St. Vincent with a knife in his chest. So this one looks like it'll be a fairly quick read, so I'm definitely going to dig into this one and see how it goes. I'm starting to realize how many books that I have out. This is like a ton of books, but they were all so good, and I just love having them. I keep them lined up on my mantle at home, and it's just such a great way to be able to pick off a book when you're ready to read something new, or maybe you're just not into what you're reading. I just love having a stack of books, and then when I find one that I just love, then I purchase the book itself and I keep it and add it to my library. So this one is called Dragon's This one's called Dragon's Green. It's a Worldquake book series, and this is book 1. Effie Truelove believes in magic, as does her grandfather, although he refuses to do any magic, let alone teach Effie how to use it. After a mysterious incident leaves Griffin close to death, Effie is given an unusual silver ring and told she must look after her grandfather's library of rare and powerful books. But then the books fall into the hands of shady scholar Leonard Levar, and Effie is propelled into the most dangerous adventure of her life. So this one looks really good. Again, a series, which I love. So this is something that I'm hopefully going to dig into and get started on. Okay, this book is called Cold Clay. This is the second book in the Shady Hollow mystery series. I read the first one, I think I finished it in July. And I think it was July, and I just really, really enjoyed this series. It is about a town of animals that live as if they were humans, and of course the mystery, so it's kind of like a cozy mystery with animals. So this is book 2. It's autumn in Shady Hollow, and residents are looking forward to harvest feasts. But then a rabbit discovers a grisly crop, the bones of a moose. Soon the odor of Joe's mug is pulled from the coffee shop and questioned by police about the night his wife walked out of his life, and Shady Hollow forever. It seems like an open and shut case, but dogged reporter Vera Vixen doesn't believe Gentle Joe is a killer. She'll do anything to prove his innocence, even if it means digging into secrets her neighbors would rather leave in the grave. So really interesting characters, and it was very different to read a book that had, animals, but acting as humans as the main characters, and it was just really, really interesting. So I went ahead and requested the second book for my library. The Unexpected Mrs. Polyfax. This is a book that I've heard lots of people talk about here on YouTube. It's a series, and it just seems like it's right up my alley. This is a series about a woman who kind of ends up becoming a CIA agent. So I'll tell you a bit about it. Mrs. Virgil of New Brunswick, New Jersey, which I loved because I'm in New Jersey, was a widow with grown married children. She was tired of attending her garden club meetings. She wanted to do something good for her country, so naturally she became a CIA agent. She takes on a job in Mexico City. The assignment doesn't sound dangerous at first, but then, as often happens, something goes wrong. Now our dear Mrs. Polyfax finds herself embroiled in quite a hot Cold War, and our country's enemies find themselves entangled with one unbelievably feisty lady. So, and this is a pretty quick read. It's like 170 pages. Again, a series. You'll know that if you watch the channel for a while, I'll be talking probably about a lot of books that have series, but this one looks really exciting, so I'm happy to dig into it. And I'm really hoping that I love them enough, because I'd love to have the full collection of books, because I do love anything that has women detectives, especially if they're a period piece. I do love those. So something that's like a historical fiction but it has a female detective, I just love that kind of stuff. So this book I'm actually really anxious to read. It's called The Language of Ghosts. I think this came up as a recommendation when I was looking for other books. It's forced into exile on an enchanted moving island. Ex-princess Noah Mancina has two missions. Forced into exile on an enchanted moving island, ex-princess Noah Marchina has two missions: reclaim her family's stolen throne and ensure that the dark powers her older brother Julian possess don't go to his head in the process. But between babysitting her annoying little sister and keeping an eye on the cake-loving sea monster that guards the moving island, Noah has her hands full. So this seems like a really fun read. Again, it was just one that came up, I think it recommended, and I just thought I had to dig in and give it a shot. And these last two are also booktube recommendations. Okay, and these last two are also booktube recommendations. This is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared. This one looks really good. I'm very excited to read it. It says, after a long and eventful life, Alan Carlson ends up in a nursing home, believing it to be his last stop. The only problem is that he's still in good health, and one day he turns 100. A big celebration is in the work, but Alan really isn't interested, and he'd like a bit more control over his alcohol consumption. So he decides to escape, embarking on a hilarious and entirely unexpected journey. So that one looks really fun. And the last one, it was a booktube recommendation. I don't remember by who, but it's The Awakening by Kate Chopin. The text presented in this Norton Critical Edition of Kate Chopin's The Awakening is that of the first edition. It was published in 1899. Meeting initially with widespread hostile criticism, the novel went out of print for half a century in this country. Now widely read, especially in college courses, this novel has established itself as one of a few classic novels written by a woman in the turn of the century. The text has been thoroughly and usefully annotated by the editor, and the notes include translations of French phrases and explanations. So it says, this is basically, okay. I'm gonna cut that one out. All right, so that is my library haul, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. Maybe you've gained a few things that you'd like to add to your own TBR. I will be coming back with a video and letting you know how I get on with all of these books. In addition to these, I have two that I have taken out from Libby, and I am currently reading Coraline, and I forget the second one, and I don't have my Kindle with me, but Coraline I'm reading to complete my bingo board for my library's reading challenge. So I'm reading that. It was to read something that is a film adaptation. So I'm really enjoying the story. I've never read it before, and I haven't seen the movie. So I think once I finish the book, I am going to try to watch the movie as well. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed watching my little library haul. I will be coming back to you with my thoughts on a lot of these books and let you know how I get on. If there's any book in particular that you'd like me to give a review on, please leave a comment below, and I'll be happy to put that towards the top of the list. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye.